Have you ever noticed how parenting differences can quickly turn into frustration? One moment you are handling a situation with your child, and the next moment, you and your spouse are not on the same page. What if those differences did not have to lead to conflict? Welcome to Blissfully Wedded, where wedding planning meets godly marriage, faith-based encouragement, and practical relationship guidance. Today, we are talking about how to talk about parenting differences without conflict. If you are married with children, this is something you will experience at some point. But the goal is not to eliminate differences. The goal is to learn how to handle them in a way that strengthens your relationship instead of damaging it. Parenting differences are completely normal. They do not mean something is wrong in your marriage. They simply mean that two different people with two different backgrounds are trying to raise children together. Each of you brings your own upbringing into parenting. One of you may have grown up in a home with clear rules and structure. The other may have experienced a more relaxed and flexible environment. And without realizing it, those experiences shape how you respond to your children today. So when differences show up, it can feel like you are opposing each other. But in reality, you are just seeing things from different perspectives. The real issue is not the difference. The issue is how those differences are handled. When conversations are avoided, small frustrations begin to build. One person may start to feel unsupported. The other may feel criticized. And over time, that creates distance, not just in parenting, but in your marriage. That is why learning how to talk about parenting differences without conflict is so important. One of the most important things you can do is choose the right time to talk. Trying to have a serious conversation in the middle of a stressful parenting moment rarely ends well. Emotions are already high, and it becomes easy to say things you do not mean. Instead, wait until things are calm. Maybe it is after the kids go to bed or during a quiet moment together. That alone can completely change how the conversation goes. Another important shift is changing your goal. Instead of trying to win the conversation, focus on understanding your spouse. Ask questions. What makes this important to you? What was your experience growing up? What concerns do you have? When you truly listen, the conversation becomes less about conflict and more about connection. The way you communicate also matters. Instead of pointing fingers, speak from your own perspective. For example, instead of saying, "You are too strict," say, "I feel concerned when things feel very strict because I want our home to feel balanced." That small change can make a big difference. It removes blame and creates space for understanding. It is also important to focus on what you both want for your children. Most of the time, you are not actually on opposite sides. You both want your children to grow up respectful. You both want them to feel safe. You both want to teach them responsibility. When you focus on those shared goals, it becomes easier to work through the differences. Because parenting is not about one person being right and the other being wrong. In many cases, the best approach is a balance. One parent may lean toward discipline. The other may lean toward grace and understanding. Together, those perspectives can create a stronger and more balanced approach. And even when you do not fully agree, it is important to stay united in front of your children. Disagreements should be handled privately. When children see parents contradict each other, it can create confusion and weaken structure. But when they see unity, it builds a sense of security in the home. If these conversations ever feel difficult to navigate, it is okay to seek support. That could be a counselor, a mentor, or someone you trust. Asking for help is not a sign of failure. It is a step towards strengthening your marriage and your family. Talking about parenting differences without conflict is not about eliminating differences. It is about learning how to handle them with patience, wisdom, and love. When you approach these conversations with humility and a willingness to understand, you create space for growth. And over time, those conversations can actually bring you closer. Because parenting is not just about raising children. It is also about growing together as a couple. If this video encouraged you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who may need it. And if you want more marriage and family encouragement, visit blissfullywedded.com. For deeper faith-based reflections, you can also visit walkingwiththelord.net. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next 6.